Of course, I'm talking about God of War. Sons
Oh,
Sons
gee,
of
of course. Yeah, I forgot about
Sparta.
this. Yeah.
So did I, until I looked at my list like, oh yeah, we've got this. So hang on, take a big old sip of water here.
You've been talking.
Sure. So when was this? There was a Sony State of Play a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah, it was like second week of Feb, if I'm not mistaken.
and this was a shadow drop surprise. God of War: Sons of Sparta, which is kind of like it's not made by Santa Monica, but I think it was overseen in part. It's kind of a collab with Santa Monica and what's the studio called? Like Mega Cat Studios, something like that.
Yeah.
They've got a
They
great
made
name.
like mobile games, I think,
Yeah.
prior to this.
So this game is essentially a prequel to all God of War games where you play as Kratos when he's just a wee lad in Sparta doing his thing with his brother Demos, who if you know your God of War lore or you've played the games, his brother who you actually see in the PSP game, is it Ghost of Sparta?
Ghost of Sparta?
Yeah. The whole premise was like Kratos has a brother in the underworld, and there's that whole story that follows. This is kind of just it's almost like fan service in a way, just giving people a look at Kratos and his backstory and his brother, like their dynamic. What were they like as children? What was it like growing up in Sparta? But it's wrapped up as a metroidvania. So it's got the typical, there's a huge map to explore, but progress through this map is cut off by abilities you have, your ability to double jump or do whatever it is to get to another part of the map to see the next story beat. And like I finished the game. I think it took me about 15, 16 hours, maybe 17, 18. I actually can't think of the top of my head, but it was about that region. And it's fun. Like it's not a bad game by any means, but I can't tell you it's particularly exceptional. Like I don't think it does anything different or truly unique. And it's hard to play a game like this, and I don't mean it in a horrible way, but it's hard to play a game like this following, I played Silksong last year, which is just a peak Metroidvania. It is kind of like the template or the blueprints that studios should follow, because it just ticks all the right boxes. It gets everything so right. It's just one of those things where, having finished this game, I wonder if people would have paid as much attention to it if it didn't have the the God of War name on it. Like,
name on it, yeah.
If this was just Sparta Simulator, the game, Metroidvania, you wonder, like, would people have been as kind to it? Like, I don't know. Because as a Metroidvania goes, like I said, it's not a bad game. It's perfectly fine, but it does nothing particularly different. Bar some overlap with some of the more modern God of War games, where if you're watching the footage, like Kratos is playing with, he's a kid, but he's got a spear and a shield. So it's got that same sort of feeling of, if you time your shield block, you will parry it like you would in the modern games. You do get the same sort of gear system where, you can equip abilities, certain attacks that use a certain meter or whatever. You can cast magic, and it's based on, we're back in old Greek mythology. So Kratos is getting boons from the gods, like it's a sword from Artemis that helps you, destroy certain barriers. I laugh because in modern terms, Nike we know as the shoe brand, but Nike is a god from Greek mythology. So you also see,
what? No ways.
I swear that's where the name's from. Look it up. Nike's
no
not just
bullshit. Are you
I'm
for real?
I'm for real. Nike is named after a Greek god. Damn, mind blown. Cool. You didn't know that. I thought it was common knowledge. Maybe not.
What is the whole deal with this Greek god?
Nike in my head is kind of an overlap with Hermes. It's something to do with like speed or.
That's where the shoe thing comes in.
Yeah, don't quote me on it, but I think there's an overlap or similarity. It's in there. It's in the mobility realm, the god of something.
The mobility realm.
Yeah, so look, if you're a fan of God of War, I think definitely like worth playing. There's backstory, and the story takes a while to get going. I think the first half of the game is actually like a little bit frustrating in terms of narrative, but by the end of it, the way the story completes, like there's just a good, it's like a decent story, I guess. But again, nothing like you could miss this game, and like your life wouldn't, you wouldn't be missing too much. But if you're a God of War fan, like 100% play it. It's fan service. It feels like to me.
I think it is. I think it being a God of War game and you saying it wouldn't get the attention it otherwise would have got without that name, I think is a double-edged sword, because it is also getting criticized because it is a God of War game and isn't of the same caliber that you expect from the series. So, I mean, it's not made by Sony Santa Monica, but I'm almost kind of surprised that Sony would have got behind this project and it not be to the same degree of quality, because it is like such a big franchise for them. It's one of their marquee franchises, and to have a game that is by all accounts serviceable and that's pretty much it is just an odd move for them, I think. I really don't like how this game looks. I don't vibe with its art style. I don't like how it looks in motion. It's just weird.
Yeah,
it's like it's trying to be retro but doesn't look retro. Compared to, you look at other modern 2D games like your Dead Cells, your Hollow Knights, your whatever, this is like so like behind that in my opinion, and it's just a weird look again for such a prestigious franchise to not get the sort of treatment it properly deserves.
Yeah, it is. You wonder, like, what was the thinking behind this? I mean, off the top of my head, it's like, cool, the last God of War came out a couple years ago. Maybe the next one's still a ways off, and this is kind of like greenlit as a filler, something to just be like, cool, here's a bit of God of War. Like, they did announce they're remaking the originals, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So
but that's like just starting.
Yeah, that's maybe they were working on something else. I don't know. Maybe they are still working on, the sequel with Kratos and Atreus, or just we don't know. But maybe this is a thing of like, okay, cool. This is just something not intended to be just serviceable, but like, here's fan service. It's a spin-off game just to like, tick that box of, God of War still chugging along. We haven't forgotten about it. Also, here's some backstory for Kratos. Like, it's canon, it's official. It's just
there's
there's
been a lot of reporting around it, but like Cory Barlog is obviously working on something at Sony Santa Monica, and obviously that's not the God of War remakes, because those are seemingly just starting development, and they must have been working on something since Ragnarok, which was what, 2002. 2022, sorry. 2002, damn. And I think these sorts of rumors around that are that it is not a new IP, but it's going to feel like a new IP, and that to me just screams God of War in a new setting.
Yeah.
And I think it was suggested a while back that the new setting could be like Egypt or something like that. So interesting, whole new pantheon of gods there. Maybe it's an Atreus game. Maybe Atreus is visiting the Egyptian pantheon and not necessarily Kratos, which would kind of make sense given where Ragnarok ended off. Curious to see all that, because I don't think we can have another sad dad and good boy game in Norse mythology. That story's done.
Yeah, well, spoilers. I mean, this game came out in 2022. So if you still want to play it, you want spoilers, turn off for the next 1 minute. But spoilers in Ragnarok, before playing the game, it wasn't known that Atreus was going to be like actually playable in that game. So you do wonder, like, does Kratos retire now? He's still alive, didn't die at the end of the last game, but he's just going to go be a retired dad. Then it's Atreus doing whatever the hell Atreus is going to do in this big story. Like, I don't know. I'm also very interested to see what do they do with the next game, because
that to me would fit the bill of new IP.
Yeah,
but not new IP.
But you do know that will upset people, because they're like, it can't be a God of War game without Kratos.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like, well, what are they actually going to do? I don't know.
Just call it Boy of War.
A Boy of War.
Fucking lean into it. Just do it.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. That would be cool.
God of
Loki of
War,
War.
Sons of Sparta, not a bad game, just not a particularly phenomenal game. Like it's a pretty stock standard Metroidvania. Ticks all the
Bit of a
boxes.
bummer though, because like this was rumored last year already, and the idea of a Metroidvania God of War, I was like, that could work. That
Mm,
that that might actually be cool, because
mm,
they, even though this is 2D, they kind of experimented with a roguelite element in Ragnarok with that
mm.
like epilogue sort
I
of thing
would recommend.
where you
Great to play
it's
if you
very
haven't.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like taking a familiar formula but putting it in a different sort of template.
Mm,
And that's what I initially thought this a Metroidvania project would be. Not necessarily maybe full 3D, that sort of production value, but you know, the high bar of quality we've come to expect from the series just done with the Metroidvania style. And this just
mm.
seems so far from that.